Welcome to the Civil War Digital Digest. I'm Will. If you want to see original garments, what better place than in a museum? Well, the garments we have today aren't from a museum. They're from two private collectors, Jeff Maddox and Norm Metzger, who are happy to share these with us. But we're being hosted by Michigan's GAR Museum in Eaton Rapids, Michigan, and thanks to all of them for helping make this episode possible. What we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at three federal junior officers' frock coats. A number of the details in the coats are similar, and in some cases the pieces of the coats are different, and we're going to look at how these similarities and these differences give us some cues for how we could look at reproduction garments. So two of the coats that we have here today, the two on the forms, are actually identified coats. Now, I said that Norm Metzger brought a coat in. Well, he didn't just bring a coat in. He brought his great-grandfather's coat in. This coat was worn by Alexander Amos of the 142nd New York. The coat right here was worn by Edward Cunningham of the 19th Maine, and he was wearing this coat when he was wounded in the Battle of Gettysburg on either the 2nd or 3rd of July. The final coat is unidentified as to its owner, but gives us some more ideas that we can think about when we think about federal frock coats. This is too small to be a comprehensive survey, but it'll be a quick look at what parts of the coat are. All three of the coats are built in the style of the federal officer's frock coat. They're junior officer's frock coats, which means they're appropriate for second lieutenants, first lieutenants, and captains is what a junior officer is. They're all 9-button jackets. They all have 3 buttons on each cuff. However, here's the first of our differences. Both the Amos coat and the Cunningham jacket have functional cuffs, which means that the cuffs will unbutton. The unidentified coat over here actually has non-functional cuffs. That means the buttons are sewn on to the actual jacket to enhance the look, but the cuff wouldn't unbutton and roll up. All three of the jackets are lined, and we're going to do some still photography afterward, allowing you to see the inside of these jackets. The Amos is incredibly elegantly lined and stitched and quilted. The Cunningham coat is also quilted and quite tight, not quite as tight. And then the unidentified jacket, while quilted, it's a little bit wider quilting in between and a little bit more sparse. It doesn't make it quite as firm. What the quilting in the jacket does is it helps provide shape to the body of the coat. It's done on the front to enhance the look for the soldier wearing it. All three coats have interior pockets in the breast, and all three coats have functional tail pockets. The backs of the jackets, there's actually 2 pockets in the back of the coat in the tail section. One thing we see common, we see 3 different types of shoulder straps. We see 2 first lieutenants and a captain. The unidentified jacket actually doesn't have the shoulder boards that we think of. The individual sides of the captain's insignia are sewn on individually. With both of the lieutenant's jackets here, the shoulder board is applied directly to the jacket as opposed to being put on with a hook and eye for easy removal like some were. One cue we see common across all 3 of these coats is worth noting. There's often a move in the reenacting hobby to do things that are a little more showy. Well, all 3 of these coats have velvet on the collar, and all 3 of these coats have velvet on the inside of the collar. The velvet in this case, here on the underside here and down here, is not made for show. It's made for functionality. The idea of the lining of a jacket is to work with the other pieces of clothing that the wearer wore. In this case, the velvet allows the collar to move smoothly around the neck and not to get interfered with by the shirt or by the top of the vest, depending what the man was wearing underneath. The big thing for the 2 identified jackets is they both have outside ornamentation beyond their rank. In the case of the Amos jacket, we know that the 142nd New York served as one of the honor guards as President Lincoln's funeral train moved from Washington, D.C. back to Springfield. There is a mourning badge over on this side, and we have 3 buttons that have been sewn along the way on the outside of the line of buttons. We're not sure what those are, but there is some speculation that they might be part of the mourning regalia. That's not confirmed. We do feel very strongly that the detail over here, the mourning band, definitely was for Lincoln. In the case of Edward Cunningham's jacket, he was a member of the 2nd Division, 2nd Corps. It has the Second Corps logo and an officer's grade insignia. You can see some really nice detailing around the outside. It's worn with age, but it's a lovely piece of a Corps badge. And of course, it's white because they're 2nd Division. Red for 1st, white for 2nd, blue for 3rd. So finally, 3 coats, 2 types of buttons. The prescribed officer for infantry buttons are on both the Amos and the Cunningham jacket. The unidentified jacket has the Staff and Field muffin button on it. All are U.S. buttons and not particular state buttons, but we do see 2 different varieties here. Well, that's our episode for Civil War Digital Digest today. Thanks to Michigan's GAR Museum and Hall for providing the space for us, and thanks to Norm Metzger and Jeff Maddox for bringing their fantastic original coats, 2 of them who we know something about, and sharing them with us. We're starting something new with Civil War Digital Digest today. It's a community over at Patreon. If you want to find out more about what Patreon is and how we're going to use it, check out the link below. And if you sign up with us over at Patreon, we've got a little bit of extra video content there about one of these jackets. So for Civil War Digital Digest, if you've liked the episode, hit like for us, subscribe to the digest, and we'll see you next time.